Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident fanalist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_daddy. Quite a few things I wanted to touch on today. Not quite getting into the opponent yet. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. It seems weird to go this long without even mentioning the upcoming thing, but the problem is when I do that, when I start grabbing little bits here and there, when I do the full breakdown, you know all the good stuff. So I'm just going to wait. Plus, we haven't even made fun of the Cowboys yet, man, and that's not okay. All right, so we got some news and notes. We got some Packers stuff to cover. We got the injury report to talk about. I do want to talk relatively extensively about the NFC North. I'm going to do my best to talk down to our opponents, but at the end of the day, I think it's not as easy as I wish it was. So I'll probably spend more time talking up how historic and amazing the NFC North is right now to kind of pivot to a little bit of pride. It's going to be a couple weeks before the NFC North just starts smashing into, well, I guess it starts, is it this week? I think it is. That's how disconnected I am from the upcoming Sunday matchups here. Yes, Detroit and Minnesota. So we're kind of getting to that point. I know the Bears have their gauntlet coming up in like 4 weeks or something with just nothing but NFC North opponents. It's kind of weird that it's all backloaded for the NFC North. So there's going to be a lot of just things sorting themselves out. But until we get there, we're just going to talk about how crazy everything is. All right, let's get the important things out of the way first so that we don't miss that. Let's start with this. This is via Zach Cruz of Packers Wire at usatoday.com. Packers fill practice squad by signing dynamic kickoff returner. In addition to making official the team's change at kicker, the Green Bay Packers announced the signing of first-year wide receiver Malik Knowles to the practice squad on Wednesday. The Packers had an open spot on the practice squad after losing offensive lineman Lasita Smith to the New England Patriots. Knowles went undrafted out of Kansas State in 2023. He signed with the Minnesota Vikings, but spent the entire season on IR. The Vikings waived him on August 27th of this year. He caught one touchdown pass and returned 2 kickoffs for 43 yards during the preseason. He is a two-time All-Big 12 selection, once as a returner and once as a receiver. He finished 5th in school history in all-purpose yards and 2nd in kickoff return yards. He scored 21 career touchdowns, including 3 kickoff returns. I hate to just plagiarize this whole article, but he's got all the good stuff in it. His scouting report via Lance Zierlein, perimeter receiver with adequate measurables and above average value as a kick returner. Knowles is an angular route runner, who is much more effective in longer developing routes that allow him to win with tempo through turns. Lacking suddenness, he will struggle beating press and uncovering underneath. He requires a runway to find his speed and run after the catch. I feel like that's workable. I think we've had plenty of guys like that can fit in as role players. But just real quick, as was mentioned, he was with Minnesota this year. On kick returns, he was given a 59 grade, so basically just perfectly even. He did only 2 kick returns, grand total of 43 yards, so 24 yards, or 21 and a half apiece. 24 yards was his longest, not much outside of that. Pretty standard stuff. As a receiver, they gave him nearly a 70 PFF grade. He did have just the 1 target, 1 reception, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. It's hard to... Oh, and it was also a contested catch. His contested catch rate is 100%. But he only ran 7 routes the entire preseason, so you end up running 7 routes and you catch a 1-yard touchdown with pressure in your face. I'm just saying. And at 6'2", with some speed, I'm just saying. We'll see. Practice squad for now. We'll see where that goes. All right, let's talk injury report. So as far as the changes are concerned, we still have a lot of the same stuff. But Elton Jenkins went from did not participate to limited participation. That's great progress. Also, Colby Wooden went from did not participate to limited participation. So the only guy that is still DNP is Devontae Wyatt, which again, not massively surprising. Everybody else is limited with the exception of Jonathan Ford, who is a full participant. He has a calf injury. Just a reminder of who is on limited. You've got Jair, Kenny, Elton, Tucker, Myers, Reed, Watson, Wicks, and Wooden. So it seems positive. It's possible, of course, that some of these guys don't play, but I think we know with several of them, they're kind of nursing the same injuries they had when they were playing the games last week, such as Jair and Christian Watson, for example. So pending any kind of re-injury or new injury, I think we're good with that. Houston Texans, it's not super great. The best news they got is that Laramie Tunsil, their left tackle, went from limited to full. So he is good to go. I think he was always going to play, though. The negative side of things is that nothing else changed. Nothing. Now, just as a reminder, Mixon is... Kids pushing that doorbell, I swear. Mixon is limited. Deshaun Phillips is limited. We're saying still here. And that's it. Laramie Tunsil is a full participant. The real bad news for the Texans, and we went through this yesterday, so if you're not entirely sure like who these guys are, how much they participate, go back and listen to yesterday's episode. Azeez Al-Shair, their linebacker. Fatou Kassi, the defensive tackle. Kamari Lassiter, the cornerback. Henry To'o, I don't know, whatever. Linebacker did not participate. Jimmy Ward, the safety, did not participate. Robert Woods did not participate. Now, quick, brief overview of yesterday. Woods is kind of the only irrelevant one on this list. Everybody else is a starter and kind of front-of-the-line starter. Now, that, just so we're clear, is not actually the full story because Nico Collins did go on IR after week 5 or during week 5 or whatever, however you want to phrase that. Week 5 was the last time he stepped foot on a football field. This is maybe the best wide receiver in all of football. I know it's not as well known, but he absolutely freaking blew up last year. So far this year, 92 PFF grade, 92 receiving grade, 566 yards. That's in just 5 games and 3 touchdowns. The guy is an absolute freak show. 6'4", 215, was a third-round pick out of Michigan. He just blew up. So rookie in 2021, average. 2022, good. 2023, elite. 2024, still elite. So, I mean, he's like Devontae if Devontae didn't take quite as long. But he is currently on IR. Now, that also is going to impact Robert Woods because, again, Robert Woods, he's like wide receiver 4. Well, not with Nico Collins out. So if we just sort it by grade, Nico Collins is by far their best wide receiver. It's really not even close. I know they've got some big names on there. We'll get to that. Nico Collins, 92 PFF grade. After that is Stephon Diggs. This is now going to be their number 1 wide receiver by a lot. He's actually already their most targeted receiver, most receptions, but he has a 78 PFF grade. That's a good receiver. It's nowhere near Nico Collins. That makes their number 2 receiver, Tank Dell. Tank Dell has a 65 PFF grade, 67 receiving grade. He has 194 yards and 1 touchdown. That makes Robert Woods wide receiver 3. Kind of. I mean, it's technically a tie between Hutchinson and Woods, but Woods has only played 5 games compared to Hutchinson 6. So on a per-game basis, Robert Woods would be wide receiver 3. But if he does not play, that's 2 receivers out, and Xavier Hutchinson becomes wide receiver 3. He currently has 6 targets, 3 receptions, 34 yards, and a 55 PFF receiving grade. So instead of an offense that has wide receivers that are a 92, a 78, and then a 67, respectable 67, elite wide receiver group, you have 78, a 67, and a 55. That's a huge shift downward. And actually, I'm going to play this clip right now. And I don't even know if I fully even agree. I mean, the Texans are something else. C.J. Stroud certainly been a better quarterback so far. We know that Jordan has kind of stumbled out of the gate and then got injured and then kind of took some time getting back up and running. As far as I'm concerned, he's had like 1 good game so far. He's not doing as well as C.J. Stroud, but still doesn't mean he's a better quarterback. I saved this because I wanted to kind of, as well as maybe unfortunately hyping up the NFC North as a whole, looking at some of the positives and what people are saying about the Green Bay Packers. But it's worth playing this now because they also talk about C.J. Stroud and what happens, or what they believe they're observing already, with the absence of Nico Collins. But I'm going to play this all the way through. It's under 2 minutes.
Even though I got love for Love, the brother can play. I'm glad he got his bag. He deserves it because I think his upside is tremendous. I've seen how Green Bay has looked with him, but I've also seen him make a few errors that I did not see from C.J. Stroud. I just have a slightly greater belief in C.J. Stroud than I do in Jordan Love on a week-to-week basis.
Well, you're wrong again. You're 0 for 2 today versus
Dan Orlovsky.
man.
When
it comes to
you always gang up.
When it comes to making,
that's what you do.
It's quite literally the opposite.
Am I supposed to sit up there and be moved by that? You side with everybody. It's me in one.
I side with everybody.
It's Wagyu the next. Anytime you're with your compadres on the NFL side, that's what you do, Elvis.
Don't forget, on Mondays it's you and Shannon just side by side versus me. One, I know they scored 41 last week, and stepped forward. You could definitely, when you watch, feel the miss in the loss of Nico. It was felt there. There weren't as many explosive plays. CJ covers up for a lot right now. He's so good versus pressure, so good versus on third down. It's remarkable what Stroud is doing. I think that Jordan has the better situation this week because of that. You talk, J-Mac, about the people. Jaden Reed is he's on the verge of being a superstar. He's going to be the next Deebo Samuel type of guy in this league. He's unbelievable with the ball in his hands. I think their offensive line is better in Green Bay. I think the multiplicity of the people that they have, they got 3 receivers that are absolute difference makers. Watson down the field with Jordan Love. Both teams are really good. I think Green Bay's defense and the ability to take the ball away is a little bit more on my mind than Houston's. I think because Green Bay's fully healthy, I lean towards Jordan Love over CJ. But I like CJ as the player more.
So respect all around for both quarterbacks, which again just feels good. If you think about where we were a year ago, everybody's done with Jordan, and nobody even got started with Jordan at this point last year. Nobody believed in Jordan, whatever. But really the entire argument from Dan Orlovsky, and I don't know the answer to what if Nico was back, then where would you be? But, it makes a big difference. And you have people explicitly saying, you know what, without Nico, I will take Jordan and his situation over CJ and his situation. The Packers have a better offensive line. They have better wide receivers as of right now. It's at home in Lambeau. So, yeah, I don't want to say I disagree because I don't really disagree. I'm hopeful that Jordan can give us his best because I think at his best he is better than C.J. Stroud. I've said that. I said that last year. I was frustrated because C.J. Stroud got all the love and Jordan didn't, and C.J. wasn't as good as Jordan. But at the same time, C.J. Stroud is humming right now, and Jordan is just sort of warming up. So I'm hoping that we get a full-throated experience. If you look at C.J. Stroud, and again, I don't want to do a full thing here, but not that he's ever really been elite, but he hasn't had any bad days. His worst day was a 65, and he's had 3 good games in a row, 75, 81, and 77. So despite the talk from Orlovsky about, you could see there's sort of these setbacks or whatever, from a passing standpoint, his passing grade was the second best he's had all year this past week with no Nico Collins. So not that means anything necessarily. You can still have less explosion on offense or whatever if that's truly what he thinks he observed. But C.J. Stroud's still playing good football. Is it elite football? Is it like a 95 grade? Which, by the way, Caleb just had this past week like a 90-some-odd PFF grade. C.J. Stroud is not. So I'm just putting it into perspective. This guy is solid. He is consistently good. He is extremely talented, very intelligent. But if he puts up like a 75 PFF performance, I mean, that's eh. I mean, that's less than what we would get from Goff or Cousins in years past. I mean, it's just kind of eh. But anyways, again, very, very noteworthy. It wasn't this way before. Last year, Tank Dell was also one of the top guys. He is not performing as well as he did last year. So really, it's the Nico show. And with him on IR, it really does make a huge impact. Not to say that those guys, Stephon Diggs or whoever, can't have a big day. But just looking at what has happened so far this year, that's a big blow. All right, let's take our first break. We'll come back, and then I think what I want to do, and I apologize, Brooke. Brooke sent me a text message on the Packernet phone, and I kind of was just mulling it and setting it off to the side, and I never actually responded, so it seems like I just completely ghosted her. But I want to address her question, which is there a link to something I can use to prove to my cousins that Caleb Williams isn't actually good? You mentioned on the pod that he only made passes to the wide open guys, yada, yada. But there has to be more dirt than that, no? Again, I think the NFC North as a whole is doing a good job. A lot of this is going to be, if you're looking for fodder for a fight, I can get you that. I can get you data that just says, they suck. But, if you're asking my honest analysis of the situation, I don't know that would be honest. But I absolutely will provide you with all the fodder you need. But then again, I do want to pivot off of that into more of a pro NFC North conversation, and then hopefully we'll have some time to make fun of the Dallas Cowboys because they are completely imploding, and it's funny, especially since Cowboys fans are such diehards, and as much as that should make me just feel bad for them and it makes it all that much worse, it really just makes it that much funnier because they're kind of crazy. Like they go super off the deep end when things don't go well, and I can't help but laugh at it. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, let's talk about Caleb for a little bit here. A lot of the stuff that there is to say I've already said. The biggest one being the massive caveat that is they played the 30th, 31st, and 32nd ranked pass defenses over the last 3 weeks. The Rams, he threw 157 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, 65 PFF grade, 2 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays. And then he took a step forward against Carolina because freaking duh. He threw for 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He got a 66 passing grade in that game. So still to this time has not had a good game. His passing grades 50, 40, 50, 60, 60. And he had 1 big-time throw and 2 turnover-worthy plays. So, again, you look at the touchdowns, interceptions, you say, he had 2 touchdowns. It's like, okay, but so what? I mean, have you ever seen a guy dump a pass off on a screen and he takes it for a touchdown? Does that go credit to the quarterback? No, it does not. It doesn't mean anything. Just because it was a consequential throw doesn't mean it was a good throw. But then came Jacksonville, and this is the one that makes everything kind of difficult. Now, is Jacksonville the absolute dead last worst pass defense in football? Yes, they are. Do I think and hope and pray that what Caleb Williams did is largely a product of that? Yes, I do. But what did he do? 226 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 83 PFF grade as far as his passing grade goes. My fear is that although he's going to be facing harder defenses, not for a while yet, but more complicated defenses throughout the season, especially through the NFC North, I cannot wait for that guy to come home and run the freaking gauntlet and get his face smashed in against 3 teams that are basically like number 1, 2, and 3 in takeaways. Actually, I think the Bears are one of them, but shut up. I do worry that game gave him a little bit of confidence, gave him a little bit of things to work with, et cetera, et cetera. But let's also look at how many big-time throws in that game. He threw 4 touchdowns. It's amazing. How many big-time throws? 2. Now, I just want to be clear. Again, I think I've read this before. This is what PFF defines as a big-time throw. It's a pass with excellent ball location and timing, generally thrown further down the field and or into a tight window. This type of throw is considered to be on the highest end of both difficulty and value. He threw 4 touchdowns and only 2 of them were considered big-time throws, despite obviously being high value. Why? Because it didn't have excellent ball location, timing, wasn't further down the field, and or was not into a tight window. So look, here's what we can do. With Caleb Williams, we could just stare at week 6, just stare at it and say, he's so good, he's so good, he's so good, he's so good. Or we can look at his full body of work through 6 weeks and see what kind of a quarterback he is. Through 6 weeks, 3 of those weeks, actually 4 of those weeks, I think, maybe even 5 of those weeks include some of the worst pass defenses in all of football. I think Indy is included in that list, who they played the week before. Houston, I know, is a very good defense. He had a 44 PFF grade in that game. Tennessee, I don't know. I think they have a decent defense. Can't remember, and I don't know about pass defense specifically. But right now, Caleb is graded only higher than Hendon Hooker and Jared Goff. Yes, Jared Goff, but Jared Goff is going through a bit of a situation similar to Jordan Love. He had 2 terrible games. His last 3 games have been perfectly fine. Passing grade 70, 75, 73. He's going to continue to rise, and he will pass Caleb pending Caleb's decline. But despite the fact that Jordan Love is not doing very well and is getting better, he doesn't grade out higher than Jordan or Sam Darnold for that matter. He has 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He has a 60 passing grade, and he has 7 big-time throws compared to 9 turnover-worthy plays. That's not a super great ratio. He has an 88.7 passer rating. He ranks 20th in EPA with a negative 14.2. That is to say, he is a bigger liability than he is an asset. Jordan Love, again, working his way up, has a positive 4.9. That is the lowest EPA in the entire NFC North. He also ranks 20th in EPA per dropback, for those saying, yeah, but he played more snaps or whatever nonsense. He has a negative 0.06 per dropback. Every time he gets the ball in his hands, he's contributing that to his team. As far as the claims that he's under pressure the most, again, I will put in the caveat of most quarterbacks who are under pressure the most bring it on themselves. But even still, he ranks 9th in most pressured. It's really not that high. It's not like Justin Fields, who is number 1 for his entire time in Chicago. By the way, he is still one of the highest pressured guys now in Pittsburgh. Why? Because of him. He is the 2nd most sacked quarterback. Why? Again, because of him. Listen, everybody knows, if you're going to try to pretend that a lot of the sacks are not on Caleb Williams because he thinks it's still at college and he can just dance around and make plays and then ends up going down, you're absolutely denying reality. As far as his wide receivers seemingly being open all the time, the data I would have for that would be that he ranks 6th in average separation. Only Sam Darnold, Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, Pat Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson have had more open wide receivers. And again, I believe the separation is calculated by the target. So it's not calculating every receiver on every route, even if the quarterback doesn't look that way. Once you throw to that player, it determines what the separation was at the time that you threw it. Conversely, there's also this metric. How often does Caleb Williams throw into a tight window as opposed to waiting for somebody to come wide open? The answer to that question is 10.6% of the time. Now, what the heck does that mean? He ranks 28th in that category. 28th. He doesn't do it. He doesn't throw into tight windows. And again, this style of play is going to work perfectly fine if you have, bad defenses and or really good offensive coordinators and or really good wide receivers. Now, maybe he's going to be able to make this work with a great offensive coordinator, which I don't think any of us think that he has, but who knows? Maybe it'll become this dynamic offense that does crazy, awesome things, and everybody's going to get schemed wide open. And the offensive line can hold long enough, and he's able to process fast enough to find the open man and get the ball out to him accurately. If he can do those things with the talent of the receivers that he has, then maybe he can continue playing this way. Or what's going to happen is he's going to go against better defenses. He's not going to have as much time to sit in the pocket. He's not going to have as much separation. He's not going to be able to make the right decisions fast enough, and it's all going to come crumbling down. Probably one of those two. So look, I don't know what your cousins are saying, Brooke, but the guy's had one good game, and it was against the 32nd ranked pass defense. Congratulations. I can't say he sucked. I can't say he did anything wrong. You rise to the occasion, and if you go up against a bad defense, you got to beat them. You can't keep it close. You got to play them as though they're the worst pass defense in football, and they did. And it's not just Caleb. It's the offensive coordinator. It's the wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, offensive line to give Caleb time to get open and to catch the balls that he throws to him. You can make it easy for him. Again, also looking at Sam Darnold, maybe he just had a bad couple weeks, but I said he was not going to stay as good as he was just going through this again real quick just to make fun of him. His passing grades are as such. Against the Giants, he had an 86 grade. Against San Francisco, it went down to a 73. Against Houston, it went down to a 72. Against Green Bay, it went down to a 47. Against the Jets, it was at a 48. So 80, nearly 90, then low 70s, high 40s, high 40s. 80, 70, 70, 40, 40 is what Sam Darnold has done. Now, I don't expect him to stay in the 40s, but the reality is he's already, even after an incredible start, his grade is identical to what it's been his entire career. His grades are 64, 63, 58, 55, 63, 66, 65. He's still Sam Darnold. Now, congratulations on winning, on beating teams. Beat some tough teams. The Giants are not tough, and San Francisco was kind of playing like crap at the time, and you had Sam Darnold playing well. Houston, fantastic team, very good defense. Sam Darnold was playing quite well in that game. Then Sam Darnold fell off. Unfortunately for the Packers, you caught the Packers at a time when they were not playing well. Jordan Love's first game back from injury, very inaccurate, lots of problems. And then you caught the Jets in London, imploding. Now you get to go up against the Lions. And here's the thing. If you beat the Lions, which, again, you may, because we got to see what this situation with the Lions losing their premier pass rusher is going to do to that defense. But if Sam Darnold comes out and continues to play this way, I don't think he can keep pace with the Lions. And the Lions offense is a bit of a powerhouse. And so this whole, let's get a lead and maintain the lead thing, I don't know. Not a super big believer. I'm impressed with what they've done based on what they have. You just can't convince me that a team that is quarterbacked by Sam Darnold is going to go the distance. You can't. So I don't super believe in Caleb. I got to see it before I believe it, and I haven't seen anything except him picking apart a pathetic pass defense that couldn't cover and couldn't pressure. I don't believe in Sam Darnold. And as far as the Lions, I think they're in a tough spot with no Aiden Hutchinson. Jared Goff is decent, but he had maybe the best year of his entire career last year in 2023. He's not going to replicate that again. He's did that one other time in 2018, kind of just this random flare-up, and then he went back to the same old guy, kind of in the low 70s is where he plays. A couple random, his rookie year's a 42. In 2021, it was a 60, his first year there. Currently, he's at a 62, but again, that's because of his bad first two games. He's good, not great. Of course, they have that offensive line. But look, the Lions are not... Here's the bottom line. The Lions at the end of last year were not as good as the Packers. The Lions this year are not as good as they were last year. All right, so that's my best shot at making y'all feel good about being the best in the division. So I looked up some stuff, man. I saw an article. It was, see if I still have it here. Yeah, this is CBSSports.com. Is the NFC North the best division in NFL history? Through 6 weeks, it sure looks that way. So they went through and did it a different way than I did as far as how they gathered the information. Let's just ignore what they said and look at what I found. So it wasn't the easiest thing to figure out how to get this data. I mean, of course, it's easy to find individual teams and how many wins they had, and you can even break it down by only through 6 weeks or whatever. But how in the world do you figure this all out? Well, I was able to look at the teams, clump them into divisions, sort them by year, and then add up the wins. And if you are through 6 weeks, which all of these are, if you have at least 16 wins, which would be 4 wins for each team, then I kind of want to check it out and see if maybe there was a division that was as good as the Packers. There isn't one. So I went through everything, and it's not pretty because there's a lot of weird things, different teams in different divisions, et cetera, et cetera. But we've got, in total, 472 division years. So you figure, AFC, NFC, Northeast, Southwest, whatever, all of those times however many years, 472 opportunities for a team to have as many wins as the current NFC North. Only 79 of that group had 10 wins. Now, I want you to keep something in mind, because this will come up when we look at teams or divisions or whatever that got close. It wasn't that long ago that divisions had 5 teams in them. Think about that. I set the parameters at who can get to 16 through 6 weeks, and divisions with 5 teams have never done it. Only 79 out of the, 400 some odd crazy stuff, 472 have gotten to 10 wins through 6 weeks. Only 46 have 11, 39 have 12, 28 have 13. Only 16 times have there been 14 wins. Actually, this is wrong because, the top row there. But anyways, only 3 times has a division won 15 times through the first 6 weeks. And one of those times was 1983, when there was 5 teams in the division, so disregard that. The only time somebody got kind of close, or the next closest, I guess you could say, was the NFC East in 2022. In 2022, believe it or not, the Giants started off 5-1 through their first 6 weeks. Dallas was 4-2. Philly was 6-0. And Washington was the team that screwed it all up. They were 2-4. That is the strongest divisional whatever performance, essentially in NFL history until this year, where the NFC North through 6 weeks right now has 17 wins. Think about that. Only 2 teams are above 14, and one of those teams is 15. The Packers, Bears, Lions, and Vikings skipped 16, went straight to 17. Now, there has to be a loss this week because the Vikings and Lions play each other, but that means there also has to be a win. The Bears, though, are on a bye, and so best case scenario for the NFC North is 2 wins this week, and that is if the Packers beat the Texans. And that's really all it comes down to. It will be 1 if the Packers don't. It will be 2 if the Packers do. Even still, it's probably going to be the top division. Something else worth pointing out, and this has already been brought up, but it is hilarious. The Green Bay Packers right now are currently last in our division in point differential with a point differential of 41. The Bears are 47, the Lions are 60, and the Vikings are 63. The Packers are also 4th in the entire NFL because the last place team, the Green Bay Packers, is better than every other team in every other division. You take the best teams in every division, it's not as good as the last place team, the Green Bay Packers. In fact, there's even a little bit of a gap. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the next closest at 37. Actually, I lied. Buffalo is at 39. Still, point remains. So again, this is the strongest division, in my opinion, in NFL history. Now, I'm sure there's different ways to gauge that, and again, the fact that they haven't played each other is part of it, but it's still an unbelievable feat, especially considering how high they clear the bar, especially considering, again, the 4th best team in the division, based on point differential, is the 4th best team in football. That's some crazy stuff. Now, we got to see how it goes. Some teams get stronger, some teams get weaker. I'm almost positive that at least one of these teams, if not 2 teams, are going to start to crack. That doesn't necessarily even mean miss the playoffs. We've seen numerous times, I've said it numerous times, last year, the Lions, they were in a downward spiral. They still had a great record. They still got into the playoffs. They just, they weren't terrible, but they weren't the team that they were kind of in the beginning of the season. And so they didn't, they beat some teams that were not very good teams, and then they faced the 49ers and lost. But the better example is the year before that, the Minnesota Vikings. They were a terrible team by the time they get into the playoffs. So I do expect some teams to start to slip. Again, I've got my suspicions on all 3. The Lions, I think there's potential for them to get better, but I do think the Aiden Hutchinson thing is going to be pretty disastrous. I think the Vikings with Sam Darnold is going to be a problem. And we got to see with the Bears. I don't think they have a very good quarterback, but we'll have to see if he's able to maintain what he did this past week. All right, let's take our final break, and we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. So the NFC North is doing pretty well, so laughing at the enemy has been kind of lacking. That doesn't mean there isn't something to talk about. And this year, although some teams that are rivals are thriving, one team that is absolutely not is the Dallas Cowboys. They are floundering. The fans are pissed, and it's becoming, there's a lot of teams that you just kind of laugh at. mean, the Browns, I don't even know if you laugh at them. It's just such a freaking mess. The Jets, you laugh. It's just a complete disaster. Plenty of teams that you look at and go, you're so stupid at everything you do. But the Cowboys, just first of all, the history of it. I mean, Jerry Jones has been so angry. He wants to win so bad. He hates Dak, but he can't get rid of him. He hates his head coach, but he refuses to get rid of him and always stands by because he can't tear down and rebuild. This has to be the thing. So he pays everybody. He pays him and he pays him and he pays him. And so he brings back all his superstars with the exception of some wide receivers because he couldn't afford everybody. And things are just going terribly. Terribly. So before we get into the super fun stuff, let's just get some context of where we're at right now. Here is Colin Cowherd just discussing some casual strategy for the Dallas Cowboys.
This will sound crazy. They've already paid Dak and CD. Would you consider to get draft capital? You'd get a first-round pick for Micah.
You'd get more than that. I've had people.
So we're having conversations about trading away one of the best pass rushers in all of football, an absolute home run draft pick. Because why? Because you need the picks more than you need to be paying another guy who's not helping you win. By the way, Dallas, one of the worst defenses in all the land.
There is no question that it's worse in Dallas. It's so bad in Dallas, it's hard for me to laugh. And you know how much I love laughing about those Cowboys. It's bad.
Still don't love all these rookie quarterbacks.
Ahmed Ross ain't ground. The ladder open, but they still who's diving for the end zone. There's a flag.
I can't do this. I can't do this, bro. I can't do this, bro. Take this. Off, bro. My God, I can't do this, bro. I can't watch this. Man, y'all like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Stay tuned for the next video, man.
He's trying so hard to stay in it. Like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for the next video. He's dying inside.
Last time we was here, we beat that Detroit ass. Last time we was here, buddy right here, number 88. CD Lamb! CD Lamb! Yeah! Tell me that's not the best wide receiver in the league. Come on, Dakota! Oh my bro. Hey, we started off. At least get points early. Points on the board. Come on, 35. Clamps, bro. We already on the ass, bro. Get the guy. What? Yo, ain't no way. Get him the down. No we're gonna ignore that. We're gonna ignore that first run. Dak, floater. Tolbert. Come on. Yeah. I knew this was gonna be a gunfight. So we good. Okay, Turpin. Finna be in an offensive battle. Cook, Dakota. What the are you doing? What the Yo! What are you doing? Get that out of here. Do not make him complete that. Oh my God. Yo! Yo, what the is happening right now, bro? What the Yo, these possessions are going by like lightning, bro. Yo, if you don't know how to tackle, get the... Oh, this motherfucker's acting unusual. This motherfucker, David Montgomery, got the bag and wants to play better. And now Amon-Ra's wide the open. Their best receiver is wide open. They're going for this shit. Oh, my God. Bro, at least put a tutty on the board, Dak. We're paying you 60 mil. That weak play. Go for it, bro. I don't care. Go for it. If you can't complete a 4th and 2, who the yo? Where's the defense? Where's the defense? Let me guess. Montgomery. I want you drug tested immediately, you motherfucker. Cowboys, bro. You, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones. You old. Sell the team, pussy. Dakota, you're costing us so much money. Motherfuckers want to know who the worst defense in the league is? You motherfucker. Yo, Cowboys. I hate you so much. We're going for it in 4th and 5 in a third quarter. Finally, bro. CD, carry us, bro. Dude, I am losing 5 years of my life watching this game. We don't have a single touchdown. Woo! Woo! I am so ready to fucking crash out right now, bro. Oh my god. Get the out of here. If you fucking count that shit right now, I swear on everything, Dakota, I'm finding your fucking house address. You got Jake Bates on fantasy, you're eating. If you got Montgomery in fantasy, you're eating. If you got Dakota Prescott in fantasy, you lost your fucking week. You lost your fucking week.
He just threw a pick.
Bro, 60 million? Oh my god. Holy shit. I hate the pro. Holy shit. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, you fucking stat patty piece of shit. You did not need that fucking touchdown. Is that Cooper Rush? Come on, Cooper Rush.
Pick.
Oh my god, Mavericks, please come back, bro. Luka, I miss you so much, bro. Hendon fucking Hooker is on the screen, bro. Hendon Hooker. Dallas Cowboys, if there's any way possible to make me sad, to make me depressed, you always find a way. Is that a fumble? Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. I hate you, Dallas. I fucking hate you! You!
Big attack, bro. No, I'm not gonna crash out this early, bro. I'm not gonna, bro. No, bro. I'm not gonna crash out this early, bro. No, it's way too early. 25. Ready for the Prescott. Oh my gosh, Dak. There you go doing the same bullshit, bro. The same bullshit to the same receiver on the same side of the field, dumb.
And it's intercepted.
I saw 3 Lions players, bro, and only CD there.
Brian Branch has it, and this one's gonna count.
4-letter word and a 3-letter word.
That's crazy.
Talk about that Prescott because I hope they eat his up because he's a screw. This man is a disgrace. He's a disgrace to this football team, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But this is what you guys wanted, though. This is what you guys wanted. A 4th-round pick is what he is. That's what he is. A 4th-round pick is what he is. He playing like it. He playing just like that.
Jerry Jones, you a Mike McCarthy, you ain't get fired. We need the Ron Bland back. That Prescott, what the man? Highest paid quarterback in the league, highest NFL player in the league.
Man, here we go again. This team ain't gonna never win. I'm ashamed to be a fan. Got me lying to my friends. Louis belt straight to ass. That cannot complete a pass. CD Lamb been playing trash. Man, how long is this gonna last? Damn. Get it, Jerry. Quit it, Jerry. Retire, Jerry. We gotta fire, Jerry. Boy, you know this team super bad. I ain't lying. Every week we taking belt to ass. That is me. That cannot complete a simple pass. Where he tryna? Man, how long is this gonna last? Who you throwing? Took a 40 ball, beating 2 times is like a sequence. Wow, Dak, who you throwing to? He threw it to the defense. I'm like, Dak, who you throwing it to? He threw it to the ops. I'm like, Dak, you gotta stop. Dak, go to the barber shop. Get that hairline fixed. And maybe you'll stop throwing picks. And maybe CD Lamb will stop being the diva and he'll stop throwing fits. And maybe Mike McCarthy will be on the sideline wearing some clothes that fit. And maybe Jerry Jones just might retire because he old as shit.